2018. But this is going to be a fantastic day for Seb. Had so many problems over the years, Alan, particularly on the last edition. But this is a special day, as I say. It's a real coming of age. He's grown as a sailor and as an individual.
Yeah, I think he's made a smart decision, you know, to pick up this boat. This is the boat that won the ocean race previously in the last ocean race edition. So it's a proven platform and solid. And I think it's probably an easier ride for him than it was throughout a build process. They really struggled last boat with a lot of gear damage. So I think this probably allowed him to push the boat a bit harder and have a bit more confidence in it, even if he didn't know it that well.
I think, to be fair, he's a skipper who only knows one way to push a boat, though. Or certainly historically, he's broken quite a lot of boats over the years. But as you say, 11th Hour was the boat which won the ocean race, so it was already optimised, it was already proven reliable. And so he picked that boat up in July 2023. It was very much a commando programme.
Good to see Johan Risham out there on the water in the early hours. And great to see the camaraderie between the skippers.
Indeed, Sebastien Simon led the race at various stages and was really absolutely in contention until foil broke. He led on the first day for a few hours. Then again on the 17th of November, he led again for 4 hours. And actually, after he broke his foil, he was ahead of Charlie Dallin at one point. But then after that, he really kind of lost the miles to Charlie and Johan.
What is really interesting to me, Andy, is to see, contrary to what a lot of people have said before, this is a boat that was designed for the ocean race. And a lot of people have said, boats that are designed for single-handed racing can't do well in the ocean race. Boats that are designed for the ocean race would be a nightmare for the Vendée Globe. But he's just gone and proved them wrong, finishing third with this boat that was an out-and-out design for the ocean race. It's very spacious in the cockpit. But it still remains the same platform on the IMOCA 60, and a fast one.
Indeed, but supported by the De Bruyne family group of companies who have supported him directly since his Figaro days in 2018. They were a smaller sponsor of his last programme, but they stepped up to the plate, celebrating their 100th anniversary. A diversified group of companies who are in construction and the motor industry, now own a couple of airlines. But the De Bruyne family have been big supporters and had faith in Seb all the way through, and stepped up when he was really at his 11th hour. Really, it was back in July 2023 when he got the signal that they could go ahead with the programme. They picked up this 11th hour boat, and ever since then he's not looked back. But he still had a few problems, Alan, didn't he, at the end of the last race before the winter, the Retour à la Basse, the race he had to finish to qualify. He lost his mast just before the finish and had to come across the line under a jury rig just to make sure he qualified for this race. So it's not been an easy passage for him by any manner of means to get even to the start line.
Yeah, and I think you're right. You know, that was a big moment for him. That was kind of make or break. One for the qualification, but also psychologically as well. You know, he's had so many issues, so many breakages of his boats previously in the IMOCA and the Figaro. You know, he really stepped up to be able to force himself to get the boat across that line. It was only the last 20 miles or so, but, you know, it was a huge psychological hurdle to overcome.
And indeed, at that point, he had 3 broken vertebrae in his back after falling during the race. Spent 3 months on his back in his bed last winter. and everybody else was optimizing their boats and working on their fitness for this race and for the 2 back-to-back transatlantics earlier on in the season. So these are the things that have made him tougher, made him stronger.
It's interesting to see that the state of the boats is a bit less. It looks a bit more like it's done a Vendée Globe than Massive or Paprec. We see a bit more damage on the sails, a bit more wear around the boat in general.
But he looks very relaxed today, and looking forward to a long day of media celebrations, and he will be reunited with his little dog Chiffon, who's his constant companion.
Look at the support he's got there, the local boy coming back home. Seems to be a bit of a trend, the big heads printed out on cardboard.
Indeed, and why wouldn't you? But yeah, we know that these some of these people have been out on the channel since the early hours of the morning, just making sure they have the best possible vantage point to welcome back their local hero.
And I think one thing that we haven't really said yet, Seb finishing third in this Vendée Globe also makes him the third quickest IMOCA around the planet. You know, it's still an incredibly impressive time, and a real testament to the new generations of boats. And also how the skippers are learning and developing.
So just first light then as we go into the channel. Another cold, chilly morning, but Seb will not be feeling any of that. I'm sure he will be recognizing a few faces as he comes down the channel. Even last night, some of the locals were out preparing their celebrations, how they wanted to mark the return of Seb. Grew up, I say, in Les Sables d'Olonne, still lives 3 or 4 streets back from the main beach in the house which was his grandfather's.
And Seb is, much like the others, followed a very similar pathway. He's an engineer. He's come through the Figaro class, through the Pole Finisterre, and he's done the hard miles and worked really hard to be here. But I think, Andy, you've got a good fun fact to give us, haven't you, as he's sailing back up this channel?
Indeed, he's been up and down the channel 4 times, obviously, in the Vendée Globes, certainly, and he's been in and out on Figaro races, but he's the only skipper in the Vendée Globe to have swum up and down the channel, training and indeed in the Les Sables d'Olonne half Ironman, which he took on to step up his fitness in the earlier part of the year. He finished very creditably, just 20 minutes off the winning time. He's a superb athlete, big cyclist. Last summer cycled down to the Pyrenees and back as part of a charity ride. So there you go, 100 years of passion. That's the reflecting the 100th anniversary of the Groupe de Braille. What a passionate welcome he's getting, as you might expect.
And what a perfect day. These first 3 boats have been so lucky with the weather, sitting in the high pressure system. And really engaging with the crowds there now, sharing this moment with them. That's what it's all about, you know. 66 days at sea solo. And now he gets to share the passion and share it with the followers. Looking at the numbers, it is quite interesting. Seb sailed 27,807 miles throughout this Vendée Globe. It's quite similar to Johan Risham, Charlie having sailed a bit less, and that's given him an average speed of 17.1 knots around the planet. Now, these boats are going significantly quicker, and they're not necessarily sailing more distance than the boats in previous editions that was that was one of the big worries, was that with the foils you'd have to sail higher angles, further distance. But of course it all depends on the weather system you're lucky enough or unlucky enough to fall into, especially in the Southern Ocean. Seb, like the first two, had a really good run coming into Cape Horn, so you know that was a big distance save and a fast pass of the race course for him.
So just passing Lachaume, the few little tears welling up in his eyes, as you might well expect. These are the streets he's known as a child. See, many of these people he'll have met at different times through his life, and they're out to salute him today.
And this actually is his first time coming back in the channel as a Vendée competitor, because
yeah, of course
for the last race he pulled out into South Africa. So really for him this is a unique experience that he hasn't yet lived, even though it's his second participation.
So in the flares, this smoke flares start to go off, and I think this welcome is going to get louder and more raucous the closer he gets to the centre, to the heart of the town. As we saw with both the previous finishes, the crowd is mobile and starts moving towards our huge regatta village, where already there are tens of people waiting at the podium, at the stage, to get the best possible position.
The Vendeans really behind Seb here. It's great to see them all out. They must feel so connected, because this is the home of their race, and to have a homebred skipper, having competed, finished and podiums, I think is something that they're
and of course obviously Vendée people, and indeed Les Sables d'Olonne or Sables people, are super passionate about the race. They know the intimate details, the intricate details. They follow the race, and so they know his history, all of the downsides, the down moments, as well as the occasional triumph. Of course, as we said earlier on, he won La Solitaire du Figaro in 2018, Alan, into a Vendée port as well.
Saint-Gilles-Croix-de-Vie, just a little further north up the coast. But he does seem to have a good track record, as we were saying earlier. Every race he's finished coming in towards Vendée, he always seems to achieve a good result. And every one that he sails away, he seems
not so good.
seems to struggle to finish.
But I mean, fourth historically has been a good position for him. He was fourth in the last Vendée when he broke his port foil, and not just the foil, it was a very difficult break, and the key thing was the foil well was damaged. There was water coming into the boat, and at that point there was no possibility of carrying on. And so it was really devastating for him that point, particularly, as I say, because he was fourth. He was showing well in a very, very tough field, very tough conditions at the time. But what a welcome, what a well-deserved welcome. As I say, a sailor who's come of age. He did the ocean race on Guyot with his close friend, also from the Vendée, Benjamin Dutroux. And I think that was an interesting experience for him. As I said, yeah, just the further he gets into Les Sables d'Olonne, the further he gets into the town, the bigger the welcome, the louder the cheers.
Yeah, it's great. So there's so
he
many
just
people.
Can't quite believe it even now. It's one of these things, you know, he's dreamt of as a kid, competing in the Vendée Globe, and perhaps even visualized a moment of it like this. But when it happens, the emotions just take over.
Yeah, we can see a lot of emotion there from Seb. He's definitely, this definitely means a lot to him. He's soaking it all in.
It must be the most extraordinary of experiences, as I say. Coming in and knowing these streets so well. All these little memories of the waters off your hometown. All the winter training in his dinghies. But this is really what makes it all worthwhile. Certainly the adulation from the local town people, who I'm quite sure, even though they love him, they must have had their doubts at some times. He was quite unceremoniously let go by the previous program. Initially he worked with Vincent Rioux, the winner of the 2004 race. It was again, it was very much a Vendée program. Started with a blank sheet of paper.
Yeah.
With a radical boat that really did not prove very reliable at all. They broke numerous foils. But anyway, today is a day for positivity. It's a day for big smiles and celebrating the success.
And Seb's a young skipper, you know, he's 34 years old. He'll be absorbing this experience and reflecting back on it. I'm sure he'll be focusing his energy soon on the next Vendée Globe. The aim to be on the start line and to try and take 2 more steps up the podium.
Indeed, he's had a tentative confirmation from Groupe de Braille that they would like to go ahead for next time.
They're really committed here, the Vendéans. We're seeing
Yeah,
just for reference, it's probably about 1 or 2 degrees outside. And don't be fooled by his must be Seb's swimming club that's out there in Lycra.
That's it.
Oh no, it's his cycling club.
He's going to sing, "Let's go cycling tomorrow. We'll see you on the bike tomorrow." I say, his big cyclist. Fantastic. Charlie Dallin didn't get that, did he?
Yeah, no, he didn't have his male
Wonderful.
supporters in Speedos on the side.
So these are his homies, these are his friends that he'll no doubt spend some time celebrating with. And this is what it's all about. This is a proper homecoming for a hero who has gone way beyond expectations. He is really the surprise story.
Yeah, he's definitely had all the ingredients, but with a binary on-off performance history, you know, this would be a really key moment for Seb psychologically.
I think the big
forward.
question, I'll be interested to see where he and the program go from now, because what they'll have learned from, or what he and his team will have learned from the last program and this program. I mean, this is still going to be a competitive boat in the future. But look at that face. That is just sheer happiness. All the tough times. So many of the skippers say that as they finish, or even as they're coming into the finish, you very quickly forget the bad times and remember the good times. As you said, Alan, great to see Johan Ruyant out on the water. That's a proper solidarity out on a chilly morning. I think that moment when they make eye contact this morning is so important.
And you've just spent the last 65 days single-handed offshore, and actually they share their social media with us, and we get a small snippets and insights as to what's going on, but really the only other people on the planet that know what it's like are the fellow competitors that sailed alongside you, that felt the gust, that saw the clouds, that suffered the pain and taste the success at the end. They're the ones that know, and that eye contact, as you say, Andy, tells the whole story.
They know, and they know each other. They know what each other have been through, and whatever is said on the dock as they land, they'll be interesting and insightful. And but really, that first eye contact, it's like, I know, and well done, Seb. You don't need words in that situation, but of course they're all such a close community. All the top skippers raced against each other in the Figaro circuit, and all generally live in close and race all the same races.
Yeah, we end up getting to know each other pretty well, because it's not only the races, we've all grown up in the similar training ground between Laurent and Port Lefort. So it's all those winter days and nights out at sea, the debriefs on shore, the fights to arrive at the finish line slightly ahead of your competitor. You get to know your competitors inside out, how psychologically how they work. And what a welcome for Seb Simon here. There's so many people lining the channel. You really feel the difference with the local community has come out to support this. They feel this is their horse, this was their runner in the race, and he's done them good.
So there we go. On that backdrop there is the La Chaume side of the channel. It's going to be interesting because last night we should have had the first interviews with Seb, just even something short, but he had a technical problem and needed to get somebody on board to fix his engine, which he had problems with a few days ago, which he managed to get started.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to get his first words when he gets onto the dock, his feelings, his reaction. And any little snippets of information he might let slip.
But he said himself, I am the child of the Vendée Globe. And he's spoken a few times over the course of the race about the Vendée Globe spirit that lives within him, that drives him. And I think that's, as much as anything, what has kept him going through the tough times. Anyway, started to pass the Camaraderie in a few minutes, and you can see the crowds now moving with them, just staying with the boat. And of course, in his pocket, to his credit, is the 24-hour solo speed record, which I think might stand for a while, Alan.
Yeah, they had a brilliant run of it, and the record was passed hands a few times down the Atlantic, and Seb is the one who...
It was like top trumps playing with the solo single-handed speed record.
And Seb's the one who came away with the cherry on the cake, which would be a really nice result for him. And also nice for the 11th hour team, and confirmation of their work that they did. You know, it's they built and developed a fast machine, and it's not only proved itself as a team race team boat, but also now as a single-handed.
Indeed, of course, the boat was developed and project managed by Merconcept, the same organisation which manages Charlie Dallan's project originally for the 11th Hour project.
Guillaume Verdier design.
So a huge amount of experience got into that boat originally for 11th Hour, which for sure contributed to winning the ocean race.
And again, talking, and I've mentioned it already, Andy, but talking links between the skippers and passing down the baton. I still feel one key element here of someone that's a bit behind the scenes is Jan Elias. I think he's a brilliant skipper who did the Jack Vabre with Seb, and I'm sure Seb would have learned to finish fourth. Yeah, his best result before now, and I'm sure he would have, a lot of Jan's attitude would have rubbed off onto Seb. His feeling, his way of anticipating the boat and dealing with situations. And that's the same co-skipper that Johan Risham had leading into this Vendée Globe, and Charlie Dallan
was his replacement skipper. All these big programs have a replacement skipper standing by in case anything happens. And
yeah, and it's more than a replacement skipper. It's, you know, it's really a second brain in the project. It's a second set of eyes that look at the boat in a certain way. There's a certain way of looking at the boat that, you know, when you're a short-handed sailor, you know what's possible and what's not possible, and you draw off the database, the experience of guys who have done it before and who see the boat in a similar way, but equally in a different way.
And we also have to reflect in a way that the race will have been extraordinarily good for Group de Bry. Given them a profile worldwide, even though their main business is in France, but they own the Caribbean Airway and a local or French B, as you can just see there on the outrigger. A regional airway, and they have a cargo airline as well. And
these images will be on the regional and national newspapers,
so
all around
pretty,
France.
Pretty good for them. I think I wouldn't like to think what the budget is, but they'll certainly have had a big return on that. And as Seb has said, hoping to go forward to 2028. So it'll be interesting to see what choices they make. But at the moment, this is time to enjoy the day, enjoy the next few days with his sponsor, who I say he's been with since 2018. Very much a personal connection now. He's a kind of a family member.
Hearing the only word I can hear coming out of Seb's mouth is, "This is incredible. It's incredible."
It's been fascinating to watch him all the way through the race. He's grown in confidence. His communication has been fantastic all the way through. He's always told us how it is. Didn't lose the plot in any way when he lost his foil. Was resolute and knew exactly potentially what he could lose in terms of good potential where and when on the course. Welcome back, Seb. Perfect salute to the homecoming hero. Just pauses to enjoy this moment before he comes into the Port Luna Marina. He does not believe it, does he? What a wonderful salute.
The V for Vendée there at the end.
Indeed. And he is the child of the Vendée, the child of the Vendée Globe, who really has grown up and delivered the podium. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know that guy's name, but he's a local guy. He's taken photographs of all the Vendée Globes that I can ever remember. He's always here.
Bernard.
Bernard.
Yeah, every Vendée, every Figaro race, he always takes the drives down. He watches the start in the Sables, drives down to Ile-de-Ré Bridge and snaps the shots under the bridge. Very passionate about the sailing world, the skippers, and it's great to have people like that.
And there's the catamaran of Michel Desjoyaux there.
Prime position in the port.
Clearly didn't have a charter today. All closed up.
Interesting facts there, Andy. That was my house for several months.
Oh, was it?
I lived on board the boat.
Gabi, t'es fier d'avoir construit ça? T'es fier d'avoir construit ça?
What's he saying he's proud of?
Tu vas avoir des problèmes, c'est qu'on est en live.
Faut demander à Gabi s'il est fier d'avoir construit ça. Gabi, c'est ton œuvre?
So what was the joke, Alan?
Best left in French.
Ah.
The sun rising over Le Sable on there. As Seb will now spend his first morning back on shore, and a busy day it will be for him, I'm sure.
Indeed. So in a few minutes' time, he will step back on land onto the red carpet to be greeted. I think that's an extra special greeting from the president of the region, who probably can't be prouder. A dream for the region, really. And Monsieur Leboeuf, the president, will don't think will be backwards in his praise.
You can hear Seb speaking to Johan there. Johan must be on the rib alongside. Oh, there he is.
He's on board the race direction rib.
Bon, sacré truc, hein. Ouais. Heureusement pour lui.
Ouais.
Ah bah ça m'a bien aidé.
Il serait revenu quand même. Hein.
Ah, t'as été pas mal dans... Ouais.
Il bourrine plus que moi, Lilio. Depuis le
And
Figaro,
already it starts.
Ce bateau-là est jamais allé aussi vite. Parce que les
They're
Américains...
discussing about the race
Ah,
course.
Charlie, bah, ouais. Non, mais c'est que je dormais, t'as pas compris?
Je te le dis, ouais. Je pense que Jack Boutal, il avait le boulot. Il a pas compris, là.
Avec 3 peelings et une marche arrière dans les 24 heures.
Ah oui. Ah ouais? Ah, tu l'avais dit, ouais.
Un gros truc dans la quille, ça marche plus. Hop, marche arrière.
Je suis plus qu'à 25 de voyage.
C'était quelle version?
There in the rib alongside Johan is Fabien Delahaye, another figurist extraordinaire, another protege of the massive programme, now working on the race control for this race. And I think Seb and Johan just talking there about the 24-hour record. I think he was saying that he did 3 sail changes during his record period, and a back down. as he had something that caught on the keel.
So I think even then on the record it was 35. At that point, his record was 35 miles faster than Johan's. So it does beg the question how much faster they could go if he did 3 sail changes and a back down and still sail 615.
Well, that's for sure. There's more to come out of these boats.
En fait, elle était cassée quand ils avaient déjà cassé la première peau.
Ah oui, c'est ça. Ah oui, bah oui, bah oui.
Donc, mais pour moi, il était éprouvé le foil. Pour moi, il était déjà éprouvé le foil. C'est pas un sujet. Les problèmes qu'ils avaient eu, c'était le shaft, c'était pas le coup.
C'est the problems of shaft.
Bah, je sais pas, mais le résultat est là.
Ouais. C'est pas inintéressant.
Ça faisait de la musique,
hein. Ouais.
He has, but it was the foil's fault.
Les fibres les lattes là qui dansaient.
Interesting to be privileged to these little exchanges between skippers. This is normally the thing that happens behind closed doors over a beer or over a burger. They're talking about the 24-hour record that Seb set, and also talking about breakages and small parts of the race courses, decisions, and as I was saying earlier on the entrance to the channel, these are the people that they want to share with. They're people who you want to know what sails your competitors had up, what decisions they made, what drove them to do what they did, and only the other skippers can really answer that.
Anyway, of course, everybody who has a boat docked here with the privileged position will be able to be on board this morning and greet Sebastien Simon as he comes back into his home marina. In the background, you can maybe start to hear the noise of the race village with our MC here starting to warm the crowd up on this chilly morning. Thank you for the welcome, he's saying. So he will take his place with Groupe de Braille, with his IMOCA, just ahead of Paprika Arkea and Massif Santé Prévoyance.
It's a long old way up the channel to the pontoons, Andy.
It did tell us a little bit about his race, just rerun some of it and tell us what you think were the key moments. Obviously, he was going quite well in the North Atlantic coming down. He led, I think, on the first day, and then a few days later, he was generally in the match, wasn't he?
Yeah, he led out of the start pretty much, crossing the Bay of Biscay. So he was straight away in the front runners, pushing hard, and that doesn't surprise me. He's a top figurist that knows how to keep the rhythm going, and for sure he likes to be at the front of the fleet. So he kind of, as they exited the Bay of Biscay, had a nice run down. He was right in the middle of the packet, and then very quickly as they got across the equator, he established himself in that leading bunch of 10 boats. And with the extraordinary boat speed we saw from him, that really helped him pull out, or pull out from the middle of that bunch and into the top four boats alongside Charlie Dahl and Thomas Ruyant and Johan Risham.
He really hit his own in the south, wasn't it? That point into the big low when he got ahead. Second round Cape Horn on Christmas Day.
Exactly.
And from there on, I think he was already established himself into third place, and really the margin only built in the South Atlantic, particularly after Cabo Frio. That was really the point that the three really got away and built up this big gap. We're expecting the 4th place boat in about a week's time. So here we go then, Sebastien Simon coming back onto the dock in the next few minutes. Final salute from supporters on their own boats.
Yeah, for me, really, the big decision in his race was to go with Charlie or to go with Johan, and I think it really paid off for him to go with Charlie. It was a risk. It was kind of make or break, win or lose, and he kept with him. He did lose a foil in the conditions. I think it was pretty full on for them out there on the water with the wind and the sea state. And that's the risk you take. You push the boat hard, you go fast, you slam in the waves, and he broke a foil.
There we go. There is the legendary Chiffon with Alexandra, his wife, the legendary Chiffon, who also has grown up and is much better behaved now. Both of his constant companions. I think I'm not speaking out of turn when I say there was one interview with a French TV station when he actually broke down in tears when he was talking about missing the potential for missing his dog. So that'll be a big, big moment when he's reunited with Chiffon and indeed his wife. But that's coming up in a few seconds.
Is this the first dog to have done the Vendée Channel?
I think this will be the first dog to win a podium. For sure, but it's a little thing. So many of the skippers have their dogs, but this is all Sebastien Simon. It's all about the homecoming. It's all about coming on back on shore, being welcomed by his hometown supporters, fans, friends, family. There we go. Just I think it's just going to be interesting whether he stays at the port, whether he steps up onto the pontoon, as we saw with Johan Ruyant the other day when the tears are coming. I think, but he's really loving it. You just said, why wouldn't you?
And this would be the reuniting of the podium, the final step. Filling up.
It's quite interesting as well because he's unlike I think both the previous skippers. They really were a little bit on edge, and even you saw Johan Ruyant.
Sébastien Simon, du bruit pour lui. Je ne vous entends pas, le public. Sébastien Simon, s'il vous plaît.
A big welcome from the public. Everybody got the best possible vantage point. And yeah, he's coming off onto the pontoon straight away. Best thing for Monsieur. Oh. It's a very emotional moment for them. And Mr. Leboeuf will give him the champagne and welcome him back. Officially, the president of the region welcomes home the region of the town, indeed. Sort this out. You don't want the captain walk now on its own, do you? But there we go. Just They're going to do this properly, getting his gloves off. But the champagne will end for the third place finisher from the hometown, from the Sables alone, it's Sebastien Simon. Here we go. And for his team, I'm quite sure. Yeah, it's a time to get in the cockpit. What a fabulous moment. So well deserved. The trials and tribulations over the recent years are all forgotten.
Bravo, Seb.
So these will be the first words I think we'll hear in a few seconds from Seb as he comes off the pontoon to be greeted.
One advantage of not having a foil on the starboard side is get a lot closer to the pontoon.
Anyway, Patricia Brochard and co-president of Sodebo. I think these are the De Broys, I'm guessing.
Yeah, reunited with the sponsors. It must be a pretty proud moment for them.
And Charlie's behind them. Winner for the Vendée Globe. Top three skippers in this 10th edition of the Vendée Globe. Jeremy Beyou, Ruyant, and now Sebastien Simon. Pro 3 podium finishers. The podium is complete for this edition. We'll talk about the next time.
Surtout que tu devais angoisser de te faire bouffer par les autres, hein. Pire encore.
J'ai impressionné le mec il y a 4 ans moi d'abord. Et après.
Ah oui, c'est vrai qu'il y a 4 ans, tu en avais bouffé un aussi.
Ah ouais. T'as le chapeau d'avoir mené à ce bateau qui est quand même fait pour l'équipage en solitaire là.
Ouais, c'est ce que je disais, parce que les Américains ils sont deg, hein, le bateau est jamais allé aussi vite. C'est vrai, ils sont lag.
Il faut dormir, c'est ça le secret. Tu lances le truc, tu mets le pilote et tu vas te coucher.
Après quand il est lancé, il va vite.
Il va vite, ouais. Et une autre frayeur, c'est que j'ai perdu les ogives de quilles aussi.
Ah oui.
Yeah, so there we have them. The three legends, the three winners, the number 1, 2, and 3 of this 2024 Vendée Globe. All three one of the favorites from the start, but amazing to see that they finally really did it. Mucho respect.
What were your challenges? What didn't you tell to the camera?
And in a way, very special to see Charlie Dalin in first, have Jan Ruyant on his very first Vendée Globe, the second, and then have Sebastien with the 24-hour speed record and one foil. So all three of them a very special way of getting onto the podium.
Huge amount of mutual respect between the three of them. Known each other for many, many years, raced against each other, coming up through the different circuits. That 2018 race, La Solitaire, that Seb won, Charlie Dalin was third.
Worried about the dog there, I've heard. Where's Chiffon?
Chief.
Ouais.
Sebastian looking for his dog. Chiffon.
He's going to do his official team photo first before they come off, and it's a great team. He's going, no, you've been away for 3 months. There we go. That's the key moment. I don't know who's more excited. I think the dog doesn't want to know, as you might expect. However,
Magique, merci beaucoup.
so
Magical moments for Seb Simon. Coming into his home port, the Sables de Long. And he's chasing his dog around. It's almost like it doesn't remember him, Andy.
no, I think like
must be the
lots of
smell.
dogs have.
C'était un accueil.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
C'était un accueil génial. Je pensais pas. Je voulais même pas m'imaginer quoi que ce soit pour. Voilà, pas être déçu. En plus, je suis quelqu'un d'assez discret d'habitude, donc j'ai eu un accueil extraordinaire tôt le matin, par un froid polaire. J'ai jamais eu si froid pendant le Vendée Globe. La dernière nuit à bord a été presque la pire. Mais bon, c'est incroyable. J'en garderai des souvenirs mémorables et j'ai hâte d'être dans 4 ans.
Raconte-nous cette émotion, c'est vrai que tu as été frustré par ce foil, mais tu as eu le temps quand même de préparer cette arrivée parce que tu savais que derrière ça ne pourrait pas revenir.
Ben, ça a été une course, déjà c'est allé très vite, j'ai l'impression qu'on est parti hier, c'est ça qui est fou. Et
Feels like we only left yesterday. The course went really quickly.
Il y en a eu, notamment la casse de ce foil qui m'a...
Human's very good at forgetting all the hard moments, notably the break of my foil.
Comme certains le savent, donc
But
voilà,
I never
jusqu'au bout.
up. I kept fighting right till the end.
Et surtout, c'est un projet incroyable qui a démarré il y a seulement
And
un an et demi
mainly,
avec le groupe Dubreuil, avec
It's an
la famille
amazing
Dubreuil qui s'est
project that
investie à
only
nos
started a
côtés,
year and a half ago.
comme jamais, une
And the
équipe qu'on a
Dubreuil
montée
family that
ici, au
invested
dernier moment, sans
in
avoir
me
de
and in the
locaux,
team
sans
and the
avoir
team that we built
d'infrastructure,
up.
et pourtant un projet si ambitieux.
We came from
Et
nothing
aujourd'hui, ça va bien au-delà de nos objectifs.
building
qui
this
étaient
up.
de juste
and we've
terminer,
overachieved on what our
le Vendée Globe, et on
objectives
finit
were.
sur le podium, et
We
on a
wanted
même
just
été
to finish
leader
the race,
pendant, je sais pas, 9, 12 fois, je sais
and
pas
here we
trop.
are on the podium.
Et c'est quelque
And
chose
within
de
that,
fabuleux, c'est une
we
expérience extraordinaire.
were right at the top,
Et
led
ça
the
me donne
race for
qu'une seule envie,
moments.
c'est de revenir
What a
dans 4
fabulous,
ans.
fabulous
Paul-Henri
experience,
m'a
and it
annoncé
just gives me
pouvoir me
more
suivre, et c'est quelque chose d'extraordinaire.
more
C'est un
ambition
gage
to
de
be
confiance,
here
et
in
je peux
4
que le
years' time.
remercier avec toute sa famille. Quand
I
j'ai
can't
vu
thank
Charlie
the
arriver, j'ai eu
Dubreuil
un moment
family
d'émotion,
enough.
parce que je suis un compétiteur avant tout. Je fais pas les choses pour l'aventure, c'est pas ce qui m'intéresse. Je fais ça pour le sport, la passion. Et
I do
quand
this for the
j'ai vu
sport,
l'arrivée
the
de Charlie,
passion. I'm a
j'étais content
competitor
pour lui.
before
Je pense qu'il
anything.
le mérite. Je connais Charlie
I'm
depuis
not an
le du
adventurer.
Figaro, et
I'm only here because I want to race.
j'ai énormément de respect pour lui. Je l'ai battu en 2018 sur la Solitaire du Figaro. Je pense qu'on
I had a lot of respect for Charlie. Watching him come to the finish, he's a brilliant racer, and it's not by chance if he wins this race.
Et pouvoir me battre à armes égales dans 4 ans.
And all I hope is that he can come back in 4 years, so that I can try to race against him in 4 years' time.
Et je suis sûr que le groupe Dubreuil
See if
s'investira
I can
encore à
keep
mes côtés pour m'aider
developing.
dans à la fois techniquement, mentalement.
And I'm sure the sponsors will come and help
C'est une
me
histoire de confiance, et c'est une belle histoire, une histoire
by
Sables qui
investing
se
in the
construit. Je suis à
technology.
la maison, je me sens bien, entouré de gens en qui
I
j'ai
feel well here at
confiance,
home. It's
et
awesome to be here in
voilà,
Les
c'est une
Sables.
course
This is my
fabuleuse, et je pense que
hometown.
ça, c'est ma course. Le Vendée Globe, il est
And
à
this is
moi,
a
il est
fabulous
personnellement.
course.
Je suis né avec cette course et je l'ai dans les tripes.
This is my course.
Et même avant d'arriver,
I was
j'ai
born
envoyé un
here.
texto à Alex en lui disant bah, je suis pas arrivé, mais j'ai déjà envie de repartir et je veux m'investir et tout sacrifier encore pendant 4 autres années pour donner le meilleur de moi-même. Et
And I already sent a text to the sponsor saying that I'm ready to go again. I'm ready to sacrifice everything.
Le chemin, il
And I
a
want
été
to
long,
win it.
il a été en dents de scie, mais c'est peut-être ce qui fait aussi que ce que je suis aujourd'hui.
It's been a long route
Voilà,
to get
quelqu'un,
to where I am
qui
here
n'abandonne
today.
jamais, qui est déterminé, qui baisse pas les bras.
But I never
même,
give up.
Même quand
Keep
les choses
fighting and
peuvent
never drop my
paraître
arms.
catastrophiques. Voilà, j'étais
Even
là il y a
in the
4
biggest-
ans et j'ai abandonné le Vendée Globe
In
en
the
4e
hardest
position.
conditions.
On a souvent dit que voilà, j'avais pas de chance, etc. Je pense que la chance, elle a rien à voir là-dedans. C'est une question de travail, de volonté. Des fois ça le fait, des fois ça le fait pas.
4 years ago, I dropped out of the Vendée Globe. A lot of time was no, it was bad luck.
Rien au monde et mon parcours non plus.
I don't think it was chance. I think it's work.
Difficile, parfois douloureuse. Mais aujourd'hui, c'est une 3e
It's
place
been
au Vendée
4
Globe
marvelous years.
et cette
hard,
place, j'ai envie de l'offrir,
sometimes
à tous
joyful.
ceux qui sont en bleu ici, les Dubreuil, leurs familles, les collaborateurs qui étaient
And-
là sur le chenal, mes amis
And I'm really happy to come in here in third place and share this with the public, with the locals, my friends, with the family, with the sponsors, everyone who's helped me prepare this boat. Because they're the ones who scored the try and I just made the conversion.
Et voilà, et on va continuer. Là, il n'y a pas de problème.
Here we go, meeting the French media team, French media corps.
C'est incroyable, c'est presque un petit départ, mais juste pour moi. Voilà, c'est. Je pense que c'est
like the equivalent of a small start, but just for me. It's great for the team. It really recompensates their work. Also for the sponsors, it's a brilliant experience. Huge amount of emotion.
C'est que du plaisir, c'est incroyable et j'ai qu'une seule envie, c'est de revenir dans 4 ans pour vivre ce genre d'émotion. Je sais pas si on vit ça.
I'm not really someone who shares a lot of my emotions, but this is an amazing moment, and I'd love to be back here in 4 years.
Et puis c'est un moment partagé avec les 40 autres coureurs. Les gens, ils sont là pour nous encourager, pas plus moi qu'un autre. Je m'en fiche un peu de ça, mais c'est une belle récompense aussi pour l'équipe et l'émotion, elle est.
The start is for everyone, and this one feels like just for me coming into the channel.
Le bateau ici, il est magnifique. Il nous manque un foil et pourtant on finit 3e. C'est incroyable. Et moi, cette victoire, c'est pas une victoire, c'est une 3e place. Elle est pas, c'est pas que la mienne. C'est la 3e place de la famille Dubreuil qui m'accompagne.
Boat's brilliant. It's missing a foil, but it's here.
Tous ceux qui ont été là dans les moments difficiles.
And we've got a third place.
Des années compliquées.
Overall in this race,
voilà,
from complicated years, but the sponsors have supported me, and I'm really proud of my result.
À quoi j'ai pensé? Je suis quelqu'un qui réfléchit toujours longtemps à l'avance et ça fait partie de mes travers. Là aujourd'hui, j'ai juste envie de savourer le présent. Ce moment qui est incroyable. J'aurais voulu rendre une copie toujours plus parfaite, etc.
Today I'm just living in the present. Of course I wanted more, I wanted better. There were small errors. And actually I've come third in the Vendée Globe. Who would have thought that a year and a half ago? I think we can all be proud of this achievement. I'll come back in 4 years with more ambitious expectations. And my dream to finish the Vendée Globe is now completed.
Dommage, effectivement, j'ai perdu l'ogive de quille au milieu du Pacifique, les lèvres de quille, ce qui peut être dramatique, parce que ça rentre, ça met le puits de quille sous pression et l'eau peut rentrer dans le bateau. On n'en a pas communiqué là-dessus. J'ai une partie.
There were other problems that I had that I obviously didn't communicate about.
Qui s'est vidé dans 4 de mes sacs de bouffe sur 6. Du coup, toute la nourriture était contaminée. J'ai pu récupérer le gasoil pour le remettre dans le réservoir, mais ça a été.
He had a keel issue and a fuel leak that contaminated a lot of his food. He managed to recover the fuel to put back into the engine.
Je pense qu'il a tenu toutes ses promesses et voilà, il y a eu des moments difficiles, mais j'ai su les surmonter un par un et je pense que ça m'a rendu plus fort.
This Vendée Globe has been difficult, but I've taken on the challenge one by one. And I feel I feel like I've well deserved this third place.
Ça a été une régate planétaire et tout le début de la course jusqu'à.
Yeah, and so that it's for the arrival of Sebastien Simon in Les Sables. Very nice to see the 3 winners back in town now safely. And yeah, like I already said, 3 amazing feats. Charlie winning, of course, Jan Richomme on his very first Vendée Globe, coming in at 2nd place. Really astonishing result. And then, as you heard it already earlier, Sebastien here with a broken foil, a project that only came together little more than a year before this Vendée Globe, and then actually finishing in 3rd. And on top of that, grabbing the 24-hour speed record. Just amazing. And so, the rest of the day, he'll be talking to the press, of course, and then we are going to get ready to follow the now rest of the fleet, which are still quite far back. So, see you all again tonight in the regular update around 7. Wishing you all a fantastic day. Thank you for watching, and see you Good night.